like a Windows Plus app or something like that.
So Xbox Video is being rebranded as Movies and TV, which makes fucking
Right.
sense.
That makes fucking sense. That's like
Movies and TV.
cut and dry. And
I
then
could I could understand if they renamed it
eh,
View. If they just named it View, like that would be sweet. Movies and TV or in an app called View.
okay, so let's look at the bigger picture here. Why rebrand it? We've been using Xbox as the moniker for a while, and it's interesting because MSN is back. MSN, it's no longer Microsoft Money or
Yeah.
Windows Weather. It's MSN Weather,
Hmm.
MSN Money, and that is a title, a moniker that we grew up in back in the '90s, and it went away. And for the most part, we're like, okay, that makes no difference that it went away or whatever. The services are still there. Bringing it back, it's weird that they did, and I kind of understand why they did because the older generation relates to MSN, but nobody relates to Groove, and renaming it to just whatever, would they rename the video service from Xbox Video to Movies and TVs or whatever?
Movies and TV. Movies
That
and
makes
TV.
sense. It's I but taking away the Xbox, what do you think that means? Do you think
Only
that they're just trying to disassociate with Xbox because it's not just the console?
I think
Too many
so,
people
especially with
you had to have the console to make it work?
yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like okay, when you have no one, you know how many people I have to tell that you can download the Xbox Music app on Android and iOS. I have to tell people that all the time. They ask me how do I listen to music. I'm a subscriber to Microsoft, or I guess it was Xbox Music Pass. I love that service. People
Now
try to
you
get me
got
on.
Groove Pass.
Yeah, now I got a Groove Pass. Oh shit,
You gotta
man.
say it like that. Get
Groove
down in the belly.
Pass.
I got Groove Pass.
But when I love the service, people try to get me on Spotify. People try to get me hip to Raps. What I guess there's no more Rhapsody anyway, right?
Well,
But
there is, but yeah,
yeah,
no one
yeah.
uses it.
So everybody tries to get me on these other music services, but I love Xbox Music Pass because it gives me my content, and I know I can get on every device. But no one knows that Xbox Music was available on all these other platforms, and I think it was because the name Xbox, people felt that if you used the Xbox Music app, you had to have owned either a 360 or Xbox One in some lineage. Um, but getting away from that gives people the sense that okay, this isn't an Xbox service. This is a service for music. This is a service for movies and TV. And I think that helps. I think that the name could have been worked on, but I don't even like the name Spotify. Spotify sounds like a music location service rather than a music player, or what do you call it, a compilation service. It doesn't seem for me that Spotify would have been that name to say like, oh, that's where I go get my music from. But for me, I do really think that dropping the name Xbox had to happen at some point. That's
Why is Spotify the only thing you need? And I'm asking Brandon because here's the thing. I've used Spotify in the past. I currently use Google Play All Access, and I all I do really honestly is I listen to some comedy albums that I don't own, which is available on Google, and it's also available on Groove and everywhere else. What Spotify offers is actually really good with music discovery if you're into that. If you want to find new groups and new bands and new genres and things like that, I guess that's good. Xbox Music or Groove doesn't have that facility right now. So I think that's one thing Groove needs to do in the future. So you got this jazzy new name. That's awesome. You're going to be in more places than just the Xbox folks, but they also need to innovate on that platform, and they also have to have a better subscription option because at how much is it a year again?
99 a year for
Do you
Xbox
have
Music Pass.
do you have to pay for it up front, or is there a monthly that you can do?
You could do monthly. It's $10 a
Can you?
month. It's $10 a
Okay.
month. So in the
I
end,
was I
yeah,
was
it's better.
only I was
You can even
only
do 3 months. You could
aware
do
of
you could do 3 months for 25.
okay, because I was only aware of the $25 3-month one. So that's my fault for not knowing the products that we sell. But um yeah, the so Steve is out in London. the UK with Quids.
Yeah, so yeah,
But
he's over on the
but
quid. But
that's the standard price.
for us,
Okay, so
is it $10 in the US too, or I thought it was
for
15.
Spotify,
I thought it was
no, it's
15. It's
$10.
$10.
Yeah, it's ten
I
dollars.
still won't do. I still can't do
Here's
Spotify.
what here's of all the services out there, the one service that has actually, in my opinion, has disrupted it to a degree is Apple, because they have a family plan for $15. If you try and join on with Google, you have to pay your own $10. So if you have a family plan with Spotify or the anybody else, you don't get the full capability of that the main user gets. So Apple did something very different. They made it cheaper for the
Yeah.
whole family. I think it's like 5 people can join on for only $15. So that's $3 a person per month. That's great, and nobody else has stepped up and said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do that too, and we're even gonna do it for $13." Nobody has done that,
But you still
and
need an
so
Apple device to use it.
right, and so I'm not saying go Apple, go and get Apple. I'm just saying from an industry standard, Apple has set a new standard for families, and that is one reason why a family might say, "Oh well, if we're all listening to music and we're not buying CDs anymore, we're just streaming." We're all going to be using some sort of streaming service. Let's save money and just use Apple Music. Even though the application sucks and not a lot of people like it, it's the monetary incentive that is a lot better for right now that nobody else can offer. I'm surprised that Google hasn't offered something like that. Google just offered a free radio streaming with curated radio tracks, which I guess is good, but
Right.
it still doesn't cater to the family. Same thing with like Pandora and Spotify. They haven't done that either.
Yeah, Steve O makes a good point. Is with Spotify, you can only use it, even if you have that one account, you can only use it on one device. Xbox Bop allows you to use it, and I'm using Bop because Brad Nader says we need to call it Xbox Bop from now on. But on Xbox Bop, you can actually use it on up to four devices. But I still can't get behind Apple. Like you mentioned, I appreciate the fact that you have the family plan for it, but even though I can use iTunes and Apple Music on a PC through iTunes, if I have a smart TV, I can't use that. If I have an Android phone, I can't use that. If I have, yeah,
Oh
I guess
no,
this,
I'm totally 100% behind you in the whole bullshit of their walled garden. They need to open up and realize that not everyone's going to go all in Apple. I mean, that's one thing Microsoft has done very well in the last 8 months is that they said, not everybody's on Windows, not everyone has Windows Phone, but everybody else is everywhere else. So let's be everywhere else. They've done that very well. Even Google's done that. Although they're not on Windows Phone, those fucking assholes. But the fact is this, that they need to get more users everywhere. And by doing that, they have to develop on other platforms. Apple just doesn't want to do that. It's just from a disruptive standpoint. I think that that's going to help the streaming music industry, possibly lower prices overall. But the thing is, the main reason why Apple can do this is because they can corner their market with creating these deals with UMG, Sony, Columbia. Well, Columbia is Sony. They can create these music deals that Google just can't,
right.
and Spotify, they just can't. Spotify is losing money left and right. They're trying to do everything that they can with integrating third-party apps and all these other cool things, and they're really cool from a user standpoint, but they just aren't making the money to be able to go back into their investors and say, hey, we're going to offer this really cool family plan. Oh, that's good. How are you going to make money to recoup that cost? Put more ads in between songs? Well,
Yeah,
that
and
you can't do that because they're premium users. Raise
but
the price? I don't know. you
I,
know?
I will state that too. Some people don't know Xbox Music or Xbox Bop Music Pass, or just so without the pass, Xbox Bop is available for free. You can use
Ooh, not
X.
anymore.
No, they still
They
have it for
stopped.
free.
They stopped doing that. They
Really?
stopped doing that. Yep, that's it. About 4 months ago, we
Oh,
stopped
they
doing that.
with the ads and everything? Oh,
Yep, they
wow.
stopped doing.
And even the radio, you can't even use radio?
Don't believe so. Yeah, you can listen to your own tracks, and that's
Okay.
it.
Okay. Well, that lost that support, but I think one of the bigger one of the major components of Xbox Bot Pass. It gives you ability with the OneDrive integration. You can save your music to the cloud,
Yeah,
access it
that's what I do.
anywhere you
Mhm.
go. But
Okay.
iTunes charges for that, $25 a year to I synced my entire cloud, my iTunes music. I do have a what do they call that thing? iTunes Match, Music Match. I pay for that, $25 a
Yeah.
year, just because
Have
I don't
you
want all
heard?
my music on my hard drive. I keep it in the cloud.
But have you heard what's been happening with that? So they announced that not only they increased the amount that you can store in the cloud from like 20,000 to like 50,000 or something, or 100,000 songs.
Oh,
But what's happened, even though that's great, but what's happened is that their servers are associating songs with the wrong album art, or they're putting songs in the wrong album or the wrong playlist. They're calling it the wrong title and things like that. So a
okay.
lot of people, and this isn't just a small amount. There's a lot of people that are having this issue.
Well, I did find
So
out one thing. See, I only have 3,000 songs in my iTunes library, so
okay,
that's not a big issue for me. But one thing I did find out is if I uploaded a lossless MP3, it is degraded. It's no longer lossless when you
it's
put it
not
into.
lost. It's not lossless, huh?
Nope, nope, not when you
Okay.
stream, not when you stream it back.
I mean, realistically though, there's only a few amount that do lossless. I mean, there was that one, Title does lossless, but nobody's on Title.
Yeah.
15 bucks a month for lossless. No one does that. The vast majority of people are laughing at that because Jay-Z got all these number one artists on board, and people are like, well, why would we want to give you any more money? You already make a shit ton of money.
Well, when I
So I
when I
mean,
put a lossless track on OneDrive, Xbox Music has played it back that way.
oh, has it?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's
so
that's
that
good to
that that
know.
still
I
works.
was
That was the big difference with me with iTunes Music Match and what OneDrive integration was doing with Xbox Music, Xbox Bop. So that's a good thing, but there is a drawback to Xbox Music that I've seen. There are some titles that even though I subscribe to the past won't play back on devices. But I don't know. Again, having a new G4, I think it's this device because like my daughter, she was listening to Taylor Swift when I had my Note 4, and I was able to go and find that song and play it back. But for some reason on this G4, Taylor Swift's album, none of her songs will actually play back on a G4.
what?
I don't know if it's the device is just not registered to be able to be a playback device through Xbox Music, or what the deal was with any sort of contract, like they do
What?
the
That's
copyright and
your
stuff like
songs
that.
though. You're not streaming it.
Well, I didn't buy the song. I was streaming the song through like that's the great
Oh,
thing. That's the great thing about Music Passes. That's the reason I went and subscribed to it because for me to buy an album for $11 to $13 and I'm buying like 4 or 5 albums a month,
we're frozen,
paying.
bro.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, we're both of us are.
Um,
I don't know. I'm restarting my thing.
my connection is still good over here.
Okay.
See, I didn't click anything in the dashboard. Let me see back. I'm gonna try a play test myself. Um, okay, he says it's not frozen anymore. So let's stop
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Let's stop my play test before I mess something up. All right, we got a new viewer here. Nurhut, Nearhut, Nearhut,
Near Hut.
Nearhut.
Near Hut.
All right,
Near
so
Root.
so that is Xbox Music. I forgot what I was just about to say there.
It was
Oh,
about Taylor Swift.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well,
one of the
Taylor
things.
Swift, she pulled a lot of her songs from streaming services, but she did agree to stream her stuff through Apple Music. So that's going to be the um, one of the places that you can listen to her without having to download the album is Apple Music.
Okay, so that's probably one of the reasons I'm not able to get it on my
Probably,
Android right
yeah.
now.
Because I know one of the bands that I listen to is well, their name doesn't matter. Their whole album isn't available on any of the streaming services. You
Oh
can go
wow.
anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like three tracks are available from that one album. You get all the album art and everything, but just three out of like the 12 tracks that they have.
Yeah, it was really weird too. The Fast and the Furious OST was not available on Xbox Music for a long time. and I guess it's available now, but you have to buy it. You can't stream it. So, but
Yeah,
one of the
it's
things
all
I
that's all licensing.
yeah.
That's all contract and licensing. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
still
thing
one of
that
the things I liked about Xbox Music Pass was that I didn't have to keep on buying albums. I can just pay this fee and I can just get albums and then add them to my collection. I had them on every device, so it just saved me money on music.
yeah, I mean, but that's the argument with any streaming music, and then we can move on. Is that you don't own all this stuff, and if the artists or the record label decides to pull the whole catalog of music just because they can't make a deal with Microsoft or Apple, then you lose all your music. So, which is why having like an actual, even if it's a digital backup of songs that you've bought or downloaded in other means, maybe from Tor, child porn, and all the other things.
All right.
That would be that would that's what I do. A lot of the bands that I really like, I'll stream it. But if I really like them, I'll go and buy it on Google Play or something like that.
All right. It looks like the chat room, Bradinator and Nearhut wants a favor
They want a
from
favor or
from
they
me.
want a flavor from you.
A
I'm
favor or
not sure.
flavor, I'm not sure, but
Favor.
why?
Well, it is late at night, so it could be a flavor.
Go ahead
It's
and let me know. Go ahead and let me know what that is. But while you guys are doing that, Tony, how can they find you guys at lazytechguys.com?
Well, that's the main site, but most of our content goes up on our YouTube channel, Lazy Tech Guys, or rather, youtube.com/Lazy Tech TV, or you can find us on Facebook at Lazy Tech Guys.
Yep. So you guys are watching One Life to Play, that is hosting this stream right now. This is our podcast, Get the Effing Phone. We want you guys to get the effing phone if it rings, but if it does ring and you can't get it, then that's where you can listen back to our podcast and get all your news from tech and gaming. You can find that on iTunes. Just search for One Life to Play, the number one, the number two. But you can find us also on all the other social networks such as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Google Plus, we do have a Google Plus account somewhere. Um,
Somewhere.
yeah, somewhere. Can you? Okay, so the favor from Bradinator is, can you say I'm a pretty pony? Okay, Bradinator, you are a pretty pony that listens to Xbox Bop. Okay, so we are going to move away from tech news. We'll come back and we'll end in my deepest voice. So okay, I would do that. After our top story of gaming news, I will
Oh,
I
yeah,
will
so stay tuned for that.
I will call everyone a pretty pony. Okay, gaming news, top story. This one hit home to me because I did not like the way it was debuted, but it is very surprising. Well, even not surprising that it happened. So, Shenmue 3 was announced on Sony's stage at E3, and it has now been um, basically listed as not just one of the fastest funding gaming Kickstarters on the website's history, but amongst the top 10 of largest funded projects on Kickstarter. So they initially started a Kickstarter campaign with a goal of $2 million. It reached that goal within, what, 3 hours of its announcement. And now they are sitting at a whopping $4.5 million to remake Shenmue, or not remake, but to make Shenmue 3. Now, I have issues with this. First off, um, if you're not sure about Shenmue 3, it is a game that started off on Dreamcast. And its second iteration, to begin with, when it first came out, it was said that it was going to be a 4 game series. It barely made it out. It barely made it out of 2 games. But when the first game came out, it was out on a Dreamcast. It was released in Japan and later ported to North America on the Dreamcast. And when the second one came out, the second one was only Dreamcast until Microsoft bought the rights out to make it exclusive to the original Xbox. And that's kind of where it left. For some reason, my Xbox just heard me and it decided that I said launch something, so it's listening right now. Stop listening. Thank
Go
you.
to sleep. Go to
Xbox,
bed,
go home.
Xbox.
Xbox, go home. It went to Xbox Video. That's weird. Okay, but basically,
You mean movies and TVs?
it has not been renamed on Xbox. We're still waiting for that fall update. And for some reason, Xbox doesn't feel fall starts until November. So
We're
to
not talking about Fallout. We're talking about Shenmue 3.
yeah, Shenmue, yeah, we're talking about Shenmue 3. Um, so everyone's been waiting for another Shenmue installment, and this third one was, in all honesty, a huge letdown in the way that they decided how to announce it. Sony felt that it deserved to take a headline on their stage at E3 during their press conference, and that's where they announced that they knew gamers wanted. These were their words too, not verbatim, but they basically said, "We know you want this game. We know you love this game. We know this is will be a huge hit, and it was a huge hit. That's why we are announcing the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter." Now, my opinion as a gamer, if Sony felt that this was such a great game and that everybody wanted it, then Sony should have fucking published the game, not announced a Kickstarter at E3. But that's what they did. So at this Kickstarter, or with this Kickstarter, they asked for $2 million in order to create this game that they've got some artwork for. It seems that they've already kind of started development. And I'll just give you just a kind of blurb from the Kickstarter page, but you can kind of just search Kickstarter Shenmue 3 in Google or Bing if you're not looking for child porn. But you can get to the Kickstarter page. They list it as the true sequel to the classic open world action RPG games Shenmue and Shenmue 2, created for modern platforms PC and PlayStation 4 and built in Unreal 4. Shenmue 3 will continue the legacy of Shenmue. And they asked for help by hashtagging on social networks Save Shenmue. But it was saved because you came on in a way that it seemed it was not going to happen unless you had the backing of knowing that gamers wanted it. And they knew gamers wanted it, so why not just publish it? I kind of think that it's a weird way to go about saying that there's a game that should be made, and they should have just made it, just made the game. But here we are with a Kickstarter, and now we have nearly $4.5 million to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Near Hut, you are on timeout. I'm gonna put you on timeout for now. Okay. You can get your act together. We'd love to have you here. So for a bit, get your act together. Um,
I see where you're going at. Kickstarter is a place to show off creations, and where you can't go to the standard investor. This was kind of the same argument when Pebble had the Pebble Time, and they said, "Hey, we're going back to Kickstarter because that's where we were born essentially, and we're going to use Kickstarter more as a pre-order version of getting our stuff out versus we need your help." They obviously didn't need the money. They just want to
right.
use Kickstarter as a pre-order. And so that's kind of what they're using Kickstarter here for Shenmue 3. Um,
Because
it,
it's
it
not like they set up Kickstarter to find out, if people liked it or wanted
or
it.
like it. Yeah, it's not a brand new game. This is something that's a legacy game, and they're bringing it back, and it's a call out to the OG gamers, right?
Right.
And so those individuals, like yourself, like, oh, this is great that it's out. Oh, wait, I have to go pledge to get involved in it. And there's a little bit of like, because I'm a big proponent of Kickstarter. So for me, someone that does support Kickstarter for those the indie kind of experiences, that's I'm all for it. But if you don't necessarily need the backing, um, if you're just seeing if there's, if you're just using it as a marketing tool, then that's not really right. That's what they're using it for.
And it's
They're
not even
using it for marketing.
it's even going beyond marketing. They now used it as a selling tool because there's a new reward tier available for it, so backers will actually get a physical version of the game. So you're basically selling a game that's not even made, that's not even in concept, that's not even in beta. You're now selling the game. And for me, that's just wrong. That's not what Kickstarter was for. It's in the name. It's a Kickstarter. It is not a Kickseller. It is not a um, shop. It's not that. But now, on top of all that, they've done it. But now they've ingrained themselves into Kickstarter history. They've become the one of the fastest funded Kickstarter projects. They're now in the top 10. They're only second to the current leader, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, as being the top grosser of backing for the video game category on Kickstarter. And I just think it's really kind of unfair for when we think about indie developers. That's where I think I really feel is getting hit hard with this because the developers of Shenmue 3, they're not indie. Shenmue, like you said, Tony, it's not a new game. It has no business being on Kickstarter, and I just kind of think that game should have just been announced. It should have been made, it should have been announced, and it should have just been just moved forward from there because people would have pre-ordered it. That's all you're making people do now is pre-order the game because no one's funding it because they think that Suzuki needs the money to make it or and I still in the end it's still going to be published by Sony. So who this is going to be the largest grossing game in history, just based on the Kickstarter campaign. They have made more in Kickstarter than Call of Duty made in the first 24 hours of selling their actual game. And I'm talking about Advanced Warfare. Like it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I mean that's our headline news. I mean I don't know if anybody's got thoughts on that. I know Brandon Nader is just excited about Fallout 4.
Yeah, he's very excited about Fallout 4. No, that's cool. I'm excited for that game too. I wish I had a working iOS device that I could play Fallout Shelter on.
I'm not excited about
Um,
Fallout 4.
you're
I don't
not?
I don't think it looks good enough to to get excited about. It's just another Fallout. Um,
A friend of mine, I'm not going to mention it because he apparently is under NDA, but he got a chance to play the alpha for Star Wars Battlefront, and he
Now
said
that
he
is a
was not.
fucking game I'm excited about.
He said he was not excited. He was not happy with it.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he said, and I was like, "You blasphemous!
Yeah, that's
How
that's
dare you,
that
you
that
heathen!"
can't be true. I'm excited for it just to see the advancement of graphics coming from a Frostbite engine. Like,
Well, and I told him like it's an alpha, dude. Like chill the fuck out. So I don't know. We'll see. When it gets to beta, maybe it'll get better. I'll
yeah,
check
I'm
back.
I'm on an NDA for a certain game right now too. That as long as I don't mention the title of it, um, but it's a pretty exciting game coming out at the end of this year. That will be cross-platform. That as far as the closed beta I'm in, it's just kind of meh, but I think once the entire thing gets put together, I'm kind of testing it in waves. But once the entire thing gets put together, it's going to be a great game. So I'm thinking maybe that's the same beta strategy that Star Wars is going through or Battlefront is going through. For some reason, I did read an article. They don't want the game referred to as as Star Wars. It should only be referred to as Battlefront. So I did
Wait,
find
why is
that
it
kind of
not
interesting.
canon or something?
No, I think it has something. It's one, yeah, one is it is totally canon, but because of the release time, the release window of the game and the movie, they don't want associations of the two. So they're they're
Okay.
they're they're trying to really draw direction towards the title of being Battlefront and not Star Wars. So
Well, I'm sorry. People are gonna call it Star Wars Battlefront, so they need to deal with that.
I don't even think people are gonna call it Battlefront. They're gonna call it. I don't want to call it Battlefront a lot of times when I talk about it because I'm so afraid I'm gonna slip and just say Battlefield.
Field,
Yeah, it's because everything I've seen,
I love Battlefield. I get lightsabers and TIE
right,
fighters. Like, what the
exactly.
fuck?
That's what I'm thinking. Like
Which Battlefield are you playing?
outside of the extremely awesome looking graphics and the fact that I see Canon in it with Hoth and all the and with Endor and all that, um, it really just looks like fucking Battlefield in space. So yeah, I'm really afraid I would just call it Battlefield. So I'm going with it's the Star Wars game. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to that one. Later, I think in a couple weeks, we're actually going to be doing our fall outlook. And we'll talk a little bit more about those games too. Some of the games that we're looking forward to coming out this fall. That's our headline story. Not too much about Shenmue. Some of the gaming tidbits we have. Minecraft getting a story mode. How about that?
Yeah. Fine. Well, this was rumored about 6 months ago, and now it's been officialized. So
Yes.
I'm glad to see that.
I like the word officialized.
Yeah, I'm making it a word. I showed this to my son, who, as I mentioned earlier, he's a big fan of Minecraft, and arguably he could be even better at it if he played the PC version. But we only have it installed on the Xbox,
Mm,
but he makes do, obviously. But I showed him the story mode, and at first he was like, "Oh no, this is fan made." I'm like, "Nah, bro, this is from Mojang. This is happening."
yeah.
And the fact is, and this was announced at Minecon in London over the weekend. And I've got some friends that were over there, and they got to play a little bit of the alpha, and they said I mean, it plays like Minecraft. I mean, it's gonna look like Minecraft. It's not like you can make an 8-bit graphic look that much better than before, but the characters now talk in the story mode and things like that, and they run a little bit more fluidly. But for the most part, you have there's a lot more gaming mechanics that you don't have in the existing Minecraft. What I think they're doing right now is really good in that the open beta is going to be free for the PC users
Right.
if you already have Minecraft. And if you don't have it, it's only going to be $10. And
Yep.
that's awesome. It's like, oh, I don't have to pay like a full amount. I don't know how much it's going to be when it goes in full fledged. But even so, even if it's another $10 after that, or $20 after that, $30 for Minecraft, or I mean, Minecraft right now is only $20 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think a story mode will go beyond. Oh, I guess if you get to $20 and then you'll get the so I guess story mode is gonna be an add-on content, $10, or will story mode just kind of be integrated into a copy of Minecraft?
Yeah, no, but I I'm really excited to see that there's going to be some more development out of Microsoft and Mojang on this, because we've already seen what we're going to do with Minecraft with the HoloLens,
Right.
and
Yeah, yeah.
arguably, with the field of view, that can be an issue, but it's still magical. Not to be cheesy, it's still fucking awesome that nobody else has done this to this level with augmented reality. And now they're still developing it for the other platforms of just using it as as a casual game for creativity and other means for all ages, and they're trying to bump it up, because there was a lot of question like, what can you do with a Minecraft 2? Well, this, and they've done it pretty well.
Yeah, the one thing I want to like mention is I think a lot of people need to step back and not dwell on the fact of when they show Minecraft with the HoloLens and they show it on the table and that you can zoom in and zoom in and out. You can focus on things with your eyes, and then the first thing that always pops up in articles is talking about the field of view. Fuck all that. Like you can actually look in a HoloLens and see Minecraft on a wall, and you can change the size of that screen. So without actually buying another television or a huge monitor, you can see a 80-inch screen of Minecraft if you want it. Like
Yeah.
that's fucking sweet. Like just put a
Yeah,
HoloLens on, you can play Minecraft as big as you want on your wall. Forget the whole tabletop shit.
it's like the argument that I had with somebody else when they mentioned that. I was like, okay, I understand your concern with the field of view. Show me another version that's better. Show me something else that gives me the exact same thing, but it has a better field of view. Oh,
Right.
wait, there's nothing else out there. So until there is, and when we come to that obstacle, we'll get around that. But this is a technology that nobody else has dove into. It's the first of its kind, and even at Gen 1, it's just amazing. And the fact is, it's not just, if we're changing gears and talking about HoloLens as a technology, well, it's not just gaming. It doesn't just pigeonhole itself into, step inside like Second Life or step inside Minecraft.
Yeah,
Like, no, like
yeah,
we can use this for education. We can use this for like offsite meetings and things like that. I'm like that shit's amazing. We tried to do that with Google Glass, and obviously that was a flop because it wasn't true augmented reality like people thought it would be. Even I thought it would be like that. It's great that even companies like NASA that are using it with their astronauts up in the ISS, even though two of them blew up on SpaceX
oh
last
no,
week. Yeah, but even so, I mean, it's just really it's just really fucking awesome that the things that we thought that we wouldn't see in our lifetime are literally right around the corner.
yeah.
Now
And then like
with
like what Bradinator says here too, you can do shit with it you can't do with the TV. You got to realize too what the HoloLens is that no one really mentions in their articles or reviews or who have used the HoloLens. HoloLens is not a peripheral. It's not an add-on. It is used its own CPU, its own
it's a
GPU,
standalone,
and
yeah.
its first ever holographic processing unit. I mean, this is all in of itself one thing. You don't you don't need to connect it to anything else. You don't need to sync it with something else. You're not streaming it from some other device. This is all in of itself. So when you're talking about playing Minecraft, you don't need to have Minecraft anywhere else. You got Minecraft in your HoloLens. You got games in your HoloLens. You got an operating system in that HoloLens. So just go. I need one. I'm saving right
Did
now.
you
I got
did
my
you get to
HoloLens fund right now.
did you get to try it out?
I, tr- the
Have you tried
HoloLens.
it out?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's the field of view is not an issue for me because the way I see it is whenever you're using it, you're really only focused on one thing anyway. Um, like I don't think it would feel right, and I'm pretty sure like early in development they probably did. They probably did have a larger field of view
They
to
did.
where
Yeah,
where you had peripheral vision of holograms. Um,
you did.
but
Yes.
but it was I can see that. I didn't try that, but I can already see that would have been a huge distraction. It would not have given me the ability to stay focused on what I was actually looking at or doing.
Yeah,
So
the first development kit of HoloLens that they revealed back in January 21st, was pretty much the full field of view,
mhm,
and that was a problem, especially for tech analysts and tech enthusiasts and reporters, because that's what they thought that the final build was going to be. And when they showed off the final build and the pretty much the final software, it wasn't the full field of view. And that was the issue that people had, was comparing the first preview to the final version. It was this big version down to a little one, and that's what they were focusing on, was the negativity of Microsoft kind of I don't want to say lie, but they tricked. They felt like they felt like they're being tricked. Like, oh yeah, you get the full field of view. Actually, you don't, and that's what
yeah.
people are focusing on. They're not focusing on the innovativeness of the technology or how awesome this is going to be even a year from now. Because even as we speak, they're still developing on it. Even if they come out with the full version of it tomorrow, they're still going to be developing on it with new hardware, new
Right.
software.
And
So
in a way, and if you guys watch this on a replay too, I do want to explain. Like, it's not like when we talk about field of view. So, like, if you're looking at a hologram and you do see, you don't see edge lines, but a hologram can be cut off because of your field of view. But it's not
yeah.
like if you turn your head, like that has to rebuild or you're watching it like come back or it has to process itself. It is still in this holographic process unit. It's still cached there. So as you turn your head, it's straight up still there. So if I had a calendar, kind of pinned to this wall over here, and then I'm watching something over here, if I turn my head, my calendar is going to be there. It's just not going to be there in my peripheral vision. And I think that's what people are missing. And they say like it should still be there in my peripheral. I say no, it
Why?
shouldn't, because if you try to, I haven't experienced it from this demo in January, but if I tried to focus on something in front of me, especially if I wanted to throw a big, 50, 60-inch TV on my wall, and I saw this calendar floating there that I knew really wasn't there in real life, that would distract my senses. And I kind of think they had to take it off, one, because of distraction, and two, the way the HoloLens actually senses when your eyes focus in on a particular point and want something to happen, your eyes could not do that if it saw that in its peripheral. So they had to cut it off. And I really think that comes from that technical standpoint. They had to make your eyes not see that so you can use your focus vision to actually do things with the HoloLens and interact with it. So, we'll see what it's like in its final version, but it's when I saw it, it looked like that thing could be released next month. So,
Yeah. When
like,
I used it, I used the DK1 and they didn't call it DK1, but I used the one from January, and then I also used the one they showed off at Build, and
yeah, I used the one
it
from
was
Build. Yeah.
it was still amazing that they were able to get cram all that computing power and all that stuff into essentially a head unit, where a year ago we wouldn't have ever thought that that would have been possible. And yes, battery life sucks. I know, deal with it. This is unicorns and kitty cats, ninja cats riding on the back of it. It's just amazing that they were able to finagle all this, even in secret. I mean, for the most part, some
True.
stuff did
True.
leak out, but not a lot. Not a lot. So,
So I have one thing to move on to before we wrap up our little tidbits of gaming news. Ready? Bradinator, you're a pretty pony.
there we go. Got you, Brad Nader.
Bradinator is a pretty pony.
See, we keep our promises.
If you ever seen a pretty pony, it probably looks like Bradinator. Okay, so last bit of news in gaming. Portal Stories Mail. It is I don't know if you want to call it an add-on or expansion, but it's coming to Portal 2.
That's a mod. Yeah.
It's a mod. There we
It,
go.
it
It's
was
a mod.
originally a mod. Yeah. Not now, then that's like full on legit expansion.
So,
It's also gonna be free.
yeah, it's going to be yeah, it's free, right? That was a good thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
free.
it's gonna be free
One of the things you do have to own Portal 2 in order to play it. But what's interesting
on
is
PC.
it
Yeah.
will be available free on stream. Um, Having to own Portal 2 is required. However, you do not have to have Portal 2 installed in order to play it. And I'm miffed by the hell. How the hell does that work? So I guess it's only on licensing. You have to have it in your Steam library in order to
Yeah.
be able to have access to download the mod, but you don't have to have the full game installed, and therefore that's why I don't think it could be called a mod,
Right.
right?
It's kind of, yeah. You're
Is
right. I
anybody
mean,
following me here? Like,
it's an add-on, but it's not, because you don't need to add it on to anything. It is kind of of its own kind of branch off of the franchise, if you will. It's not a sequel or anything like that. I mean, I
right.
guess it's like a when it started out, according to this article specifically, it was like the time frame between Portal 1 and Portal 2. So if you can imagine that, then but you don't necessarily, it's not following the timeline directly of Portal 1 and Portal 2,
Yeah, I
but
guess it's
at
a
least as
prequel.
long as you have the game, then you can get it for free.
I guess it's a prequel. I guess it's a prequel to Portal 2. It's what happened between Portal 1 and Portal 2, but
Right. No,
it's
that's
still
true,
kind of it's
but
still kind of fan fiction of it, like it's not truly Valve. It's just kind of a guest of some other tester that was in the maze, that was in Aperture testing facility. So it is interesting. It should be fun to play. So we should get our hands on that. Did we find out a release date on that, or is it
no,
available
they
now?
haven't announced a release date or anything.
Okay, so
But
that's coming up.
I'll talk to Gabe Newell about that.
So before we get to our last section, I'm going to skip around here in our rundown. talking about release dates. Just a few bits here. Upcoming Tekken games. Um, Tony, I don't know if you had any upcoming tech, but as far as games are concerned, we're kind of just in the wheelhouse of PlayStation 4. It looks like PlayStation 4 will be getting the critically acclaimed Journey later this month. It looks like it was leaked to debut in July this month, July 21st. We
Yep.
will get a iteration of Journey with some improved graphics. I think they were talking about some added gameplay to it too. Let me get down here really quick. So yeah, it will run at 1080p, 60 frames per second. And oh yeah, actually it will just be a port. But with the 1080p resolution and 60 frames per second, that should be pretty exciting. This was exclusive only to PlayStation 3, but now PlayStation 4 players can play it too. And I would think that if they're putting it on PlayStation 4, there should be a version available for PlayStation Vita. When I first started this article, I thought that it was just going to be released to PlayStation Plus, and I was pretty excited about that. But we'll see what happens. If it may be a one of the free to play games come August for PlayStation Plus. I'm not
Game
gonna
looks
buy
good
it.
though, man.
Yeah, when it comes out on the 21st, I'm not gonna buy it because the way Sony does shit, I'm pretty sure it will be PlayStation Plus library either in August, if not August, then September. So I'm just not gonna buy it. I'll wait for it till then. The other game coming out to PS4 is going to be um, the PC game that was released back in September of 2014. Um, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I guess this was pretty popular on PC. I have not played it, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. So it is something I will buy on my PlayStation 4 come July 15th. That is an officially announced date. And officially, that is the announced date. Launching Wednesday, July 15th. So I will be downloading that. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Um, any tech releases we need to look forward to, Tony?
Well, I mean, in regards to phones, OnePlus One on a weekly basis, they've been announcing like what's gonna come with their phones. So I think the first thing that they announced was that it will have a biometric fingerprint reader in some fashion.
Oh boy.
And then there was a leaked picture that it will have a wood grain back, which looks kind of cool with the metal bezel. And then the CEO of OnePlus said that it would be south of $450, which is in this world of $800 smartphones, at least here in the Western Hemisphere, that's still fucking awesome. That they're like you said earlier, Braz, that they can get the cost down to that and still have really low margins, but it's still a niche device because for the most part, you only find OnePlus in the hands of people like myself, like nerds and stuff.
Right.
But
That's what I'm thinking. Like I'm on a T-Mobile jump plan. I don't think I'm going to jump down to it, but I would love to kind of
well, that's the
see
thing.
that
Like
thing
you
in
wouldn't be
action.
able to get it through T-Mobile directly. You'd have to get it from OnePlus at the full price of like three 39 or whatever it's gonna or 439 or whatever it's gonna be. But so there's that. There's also some leaked information about the Galaxy Note 5. Not a lot, but they're talking about the next panel. It's going to look a lot crisper than the panel that came out in the Note 4, which both you and I both know the Note 4 panel was the best panel of smartphone that came out in 2014.
Oh yes.
Also, the battery life is going to be a little bit better. Then it's going to come out with the new version of Android, which currently is still Android M. Android M right now is very stable, even as a developer preview. So a lot of cool things are coming out of those woodworks. In
So am
other
I am I
hardware,
am I correct to say that they could not get the licensing to be Eminem?
well, I wouldn't go as far as saying that because um, they last year they announced it was Android L, and we thought it would also, be kind of like what they did with KitKat, and they went with Lollipop instead. And they're just it might be a licensing thing that they're waiting, but I guess you could argue, they're trying to get a license with Eminem, which is I don't even know who makes it. I guess it's just the Eminem Corporation. Then you could also say it could be like Mars, because Mars makes a bunch of the
I
candy
was
as
gonna
well
say,
too.
remember the Mars bar? I was gonna say,
Yeah,
why not to call it
yeah,
Mars?
they could do
But the
Mars,
Mars bar was so
or
80s,
Milky
right?
Way. Milky Way was another one as
I
well
would have liked
too.
Milky Way. That would
The
be cool.
opening sequence to Google I/O was basically the whole room was a galaxy. So like, oh, could be announcing Mars today with Android Mars or something, and that would be kind of cool because basically it's talking about the vast a huge planet, but it's also a deadly planet. So I don't know if they want to be associated with anything deadly. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
maybe not.
so
I do like
there's a
Milky
lot.
Way. Milky Way would be nice.
Yeah.
So, you said you had one more piece of hardware?
Well, no, that was pretty much it. Because they also there was also an announcement this week about the new GoPro. Um,
Oh,
what
okay.
they Yeah. So there's, GoPro now, there's a new one that came out called the GoPro Hero 4 Session. It's the smallest GoPro camera ever, and it's 499. So it's still very expensive, but it's basically a
Too
cube
damn
that's
expensive.
it's an inch by inch by inch. It's very small. It's got great battery life. It does not have 4K image quality, but if you're on white river rafting, or if you're doing anything else like action sport wise, it has a great field of view, and even at 1080p you're going to get some awesome shots. So the reason why it's still very expensive is because it's so small. They trying to miniaturize all of that, compared to their silver line or whatever.
Well,
It's
and they also
um,
built a brand. I mean, it's expensive because they built a brand.
yeah,
So I do
definitely.
like that. I do want to mention there are rumors about that Note 5 coming out. Samsung may end up dropping the stylus, so we'll see about that. That is one thing that I did love about the Note 4, along with the external battery. Just having that stylus on there is one of the reasons I chose that over the S6. So we'll still see
You
what
know,
happens with that.
you know what I use that stylus for a lot? When we had the Pro 2s
Oh,
for work.
use that. Yeah, yeah.
I never used the stylus on my own Note, to be
See, on
honest
my
with
Note,
you.
I
But
always
when
used
I
it for the
lost
S
my
Note.
Wacom stylus for the Surface Pro 2 or the Pro 1, whatever they gave us,
Yeah.
I would just use my Note 4 stylus. And I had my boss sign something. She's like, "This is not the right stylus." I'm like, "No, it's not."
Yeah, see, I actually like using S Note, so that is one of the things I miss
Okay.
by having
All
this
right.
G4 is S Note, but we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, I am holding. It is a cigarette. It is a cigarette. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it is a cigarette. Um,
Nothing
so
else.
yeah, nothing else here. So that is it for news. This is a section or segment that we're starting here. We call this Attention You. Attention
You.
You. You. You. Attention You.
You. Not me. You.
Just a couple bits of pieces of stuff we found on the web that we found interesting. First up, it looks like the folks over at Nissan mistaken some graphics that came from Drive Club that were posted by a user on Twitter. His name is Chris. What's his whole Twitter handle? Looks like Captain Cook 96. He posted some photos, and Twitter's response to his photos on his timeline said, "Awesome, awesome shots. Did you take these photos?" And they were photos of a Nissan. Looks like a 300 cruising the streets, over the hood shot, um, over the rear fender shot. They look extraordinary. They look unbelievable. You can find this story over on our website, onelifetoplay.com. Tomorrow it'll probably be posted from our blogger.
They do look
Um,
great. They
but
look
they look
legit.
great. But
Yeah.
Nissan, he when he posted these on Twitter, he actually tagged Nissan USA, and whoever handles that account literally thought that they were great looking photos, thought they were real until someone came along by the name of Phantom Evolution, yeah, Phantom Evolution, saying, Captain Cook 96, do you wonder if Nissan USA know these are PS4 share pics taken in Drive Club? I do. And finally, Nissan USA came along and said, "Ha, this is the quote of the year coming from coming from a car manufacturer." Didn't look closely enough, apparently. Graphics these days are ridiculous. And that is coming from a PS4. Not getting into wars of or getting into console wars, but they did look absolutely stunning. And if I was that guy too, I may have mistaken them as real life photos. So I thought that was interesting here. Breaking Bad reference. Oh, Captain Cook. Captain Cook, the
Yep,
Breaking Bad.
Captain
There it
Cook.
is. I
That's
didn't even I
right.
didn't even realize that. That is the Breaking Bad reference. And then our last piece of news, because I got a new G4 and I do a lot of group texting, I did want to break this down really quick. We'll kind of go through these kind of really fast here. This was posted over on Huffington Post. Eight commandments of group texting. I thought these were just
That's
off the
funny.
wall, hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know if these are in any particular order because they do list number one. They do go in the order of 1 through 8, so no particular order. Number one, thou shall not text all night. So if you are in a group text, you cannot. It is uncommon to wake up with 60 or more text coming from a group text session. So I guess you have to just wait until the text kind of trickle down, and that's when you figure out that okay, the group session is over.
Yeah.
Maybe
Just wait till the morning. Seriously.
just wait until the morning.
Just wait.
So I guess this had to give it should give a cutoff time.
Ain't
But you may
nothing important at 2 in the morning that you need to tell five other people simultaneously. I mean, that's what Twitter's for, if
there you
anything.
go. So the rule is to consider stopping the chit chat around midnight. So regardless of your time zone, stop at midnight. Number two, thou shalt not leave a group text without announcing it. Don't just leave. Um, Someone may be talking to you, they may not know that you have left. So make sure that you let people know you are out of here. Political, I think that's athletes spelled a very weird way. Political, political atheist. Political atheist agrees that Fallout 4 is amazing.
Yeah, the king of kink says Fallout 4.
Yeah, Fallout 4. Yeah, we mentioned Fallout 4 earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it because it looks like every other Fallout 4, but I guess I gotta wait and see. I am so surprised that when that game was announced, um, that they came out with the release date so officially and so soon. So they've been working
Yeah.
on that for a while.
Hopefully they can keep to that.
My biggest problem though is with that release date being announced and everybody not waiting for it, it doesn't seem like that game can develop any more than what we see now. So, and that's why I have my feelings about it being just just looking like any other Fallout. So, I think the story was going to make that. So we'll see what happens. Number three, thou shalt keep thy phone on silent. And I just gotta read this out because I'm big on this one. Being in a group text means you're getting a hell of a lot of messages. To be a good Samaritan to those around you, please keep your phone on silent. It's very annoying when someone's phone is constantly dinging or buzzing because they're getting a text a minute. So that is I would make that number one. I would if you know you're in a group conversation and you don't want to leave, therefore knocking on the door of number two, leaving the group text without announcing, and also not texting all night. Make sure you keep your phone on silent so that doesn't bother people around you, especially people who are asleep if you do decide to go past midnight. Um, oh yeah, they bringing back Vault in Fallout 4, so again, same old Fallout if you bringing stuff back. Number four, this is a biggie. Thou shall not judge those with different phones. If you got a smartphone, you're in a group text, everybody has texting capabilities. Therefore, it does not matter if you have an Apple or Android or a Windows phone. Just fucking text. That's all it's about. It's texting. It's not a competition at that point. Everybody texting the same way. Just do it.
Can we just stop the competition altogether? Just like the phone that you like and just be happy with it. Just be
There you
done.
go. There you go. It's a phone. It's a smartphone. God damn it. Like, phone's a phone.
They all do the same thing. Just
Look at this. Okay. The King of Kinks already has a game of the year. The year's not over. Is Witcher 3. That is Kings of Kings game of the year. Um, I do not want to name my game of the year just yet. I'm still waiting for some big games. I hate the
Oh,
summer. I hate the summer meltdown, where we don't get much stuff. I thought Witcher 3 would get me through the summer, but I have not bought it yet because I wanted to save my money for Batman Arkham Knight, and I'm glad I did save it for that. So I haven't tried Witcher 3 yet, but it may be up there. I'm not going to say it's not going to be like one of the top three games of the year, but I cannot say just yet that it will be game of the year. Number five of the top eight commandments of group texting. Thou shalt not rush. When you send so many texts in rapid succession, they'll probably start to get confusing for everyone, and it's hard to keep up if there's a lot of people texting at once. Therefore, many trains of thoughts and conversations are happening at once, and to keep it from being confusing, let a moment or two pass between your texts. Let someone respond before you go to another thought. Please understand that. It is a conversation. It's not a soapbox.
my wife is in a group, a Facebook Messenger group text, and one of her friends doesn't have Facebook Messenger installed on her phone. So she has to, log in to Facebook Messenger on her desktop when she gets home. So when she gets home, she responds to all of the comments that came prior. And
Oh yeah.
so throughout the whole day, we're having a normal conversation. And then when this individual gets home, she responds to everybody and their little tidbits. And it's like, oh my God, just fucking install the app on your phone. It's not a big deal.
She installed. Wait, she responds to everybody individually.
Yeah, she'll be like, at Tony, ha, that was funny. At so and so. Yeah, I agree with you. At so and so. I was at the gym today too. It's like, oh my God. Like, even if you're in that predicament where you don't want to install, you're not required to reply.
Well,
Like,
that almost leads to commandment number six, though. Thou shalt not lurk, and I kind of like that one. If you're not going to reply, then you're not participating, and therefore you're lurking, and you're reading, and you're judging, and you're not responding. And I don't think that's right. But I almost believe that is on that onus falls on the group creator at that point. If you know that person is going to lurk, then you probably should not have invited them to the group. If you notice that they are, remove them from the group. That's it. So that's on the group. That's on the group creator, not on a person that may not be able to respond. But then that leads into commandment number seven. Thou shalt mute the conversation if you're not going to participate. Therefore, if you don't want to get the text, put do not disturb on, and you won't get the text. And you don't have to worry about lurking. You don't have to worry about hurting people's feelings because you're not responding and you're not being part of the conversation. So, all in all, follow those three in order, and you should be all good with all your group friends. Do not rush, do not lurk, and mute the conversation if you're not going to be in there. All right? Before I get to the last one, let's talk a little bit about why Groove reminds Brandinator of child porn.
Jesus.
We're back to this again. Um,
Apparently we are.
Groove is the new title for Xbox Music. And when you think of Groove, you may think of child porn, only if you're Brad Nader. But remember, Brad Nader is a pretty pony. So we'll leave that
Yes.
alone.
Yes.
Reckless Yuka says Batman isn't broken. It's just not up to the standard that PC gamers set. I just played and finished the main story. Just had to disable. What is that? SLI? What's SLI? I'm not that big of a PC. What is that? Yeah, I'm not sure what SLI is. Reckless Yuki, what is SLI? But they are having a battle right now between Batman,
Oh, the
whether it's broken
scalable
on
link
PC.
interface.
Scalable link and wow.
Yeah.
See
It's
these
uh
PC
it's for
gamers.
Nvidia. It's on Nvidia chips.
Yeah, see these PC gamers. You just got a lot of shit to contend with. Just get it on console and have a good time. Just play it one way.
Oh,
Without
you're
all
gonna
that
start a
shit.
war. You're
Yeah, I'm
gonna
about
start. There you
to.
go.
Here we
Start the
go.
fire. You're gonna
Here we
start in
go.
there.
we could pick that up next week. We'll do a small little PC I guess battle. I don't know. Multiple NVIDIA graphics cards, render frames in games, also editing. AMD is called Crossfire. So I do know what Crossfire is. So, um, yeah, I just kind of like playing it on console. When I look at those high end titles, those AAA titles, I'm not really that big on trying to get them on PC. I just get them on console if they're available.
Well,
If not,
it's not to get into this, but it's interesting. Everything that was announced at E3, it's like this is exclusive to PS4 and PC.
in
This
PC.
is exclusive to Xbox
Yeah,
One and PC.
yeah.
So the kind of underlining theme there, I was thinking like they just want you to buy a PC.
Well, I think the
I
underlying consoles are becoming PCs. So
Almost, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that
yeah, we're
that
definitely getting there, especially with like, well, at least on the Xbox One with DirectX 12 being implemented into the Xbox One on Windows 10. That's gonna be fucking awesome.
yeah, that's what I think is going to really happen. So, our last commandment of the eight commandments of group texting, number eight, thou shalt not sext.
Yeah, in a group text, come on,
Yeah,
guys,
don't do that in
take
the
it
group
private.
text. Yeah,
Take it
and
private.
unless you're in a group with Brad
This ain't
Nader.
no group orgy text.
It, well, I mean, it could be an
It
orgy
could
group.
be, it could be,
It
but
could be an
that
orgy group. But then
for
then you know that flies, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what.
So there you go.
Yeah, or just
Maybe we can have
go to Snapchat. Just go to
N-
Snapchat.
Near Hut can be in that group text.
Apparently so.
He or she seemed to like a lot of
Wherever they
that.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to wrap this up, the King of Kings says, "I'm always on console, but it's a fact PCs are superior from a hardware standpoint." Yeah, that is true. I'll give you that. It's
Yeah.
superior, but as far as being able just to jump in the game and play the game, I think you just have so much more tweaking to do, and it just becomes a hassle for me. Um,
But it's
Rounding
the
out.
tweaking that when you get the perfect tweak, that journey to get there was so worth it. Whereas on a console, you just plug and play, and for you, after a few updates or whatever, it's good to go. But for PC gamers, that's not good enough because they want to get that clear FPS that you can only get on a console on a PC.
Yeah, and so I got to bring this up too. Reckless Yuki says this in his comment here, his or her comment. I must say the PC is a lot better and became a lot more stable than it was 10 years ago. So I did get on a little kind of a battle on Facebook in comments, and that's a very odd place to have a PC versus console argument. But yeah, it was in the comments on a Facebook post about why I
Reckless is
prefer
the guy.
console why I prefer console gaming over PC. And it was the last time I really did heavy PC gaming was back in the days of EverQuest
Okay,
in
yeah.
Quake. You know, and back then it was just so hard to get shit to run. And my biggest argument when I was talking to this person on Facebook was when it came to communication and party chat and multiplayer gaming, it was so difficult to do it on multiplayer because everybody did something different on PC that it was hard to find that one solid means of communicating in these multiplayer games. And that's why I preferred playing these kind of titles on console. And when it came down to it, I just kind of said F it to PC when I was playing those games, and I just started playing it on console. And by the time, PC actually did pick up and get better at doing those multiplayer games, I was settled into
You were
console at
set
that
on
point.
console.
So a
And
lot
that's
of people,
fine,
yeah, and a lot of people got mad at me in this conversation because they say, okay, so you're basing your opinion that console is better for multiplayer than PC is today based on antiquated usage. And I say, yeah, you're right. That's the basis of it. But because it was so haphazard back then, you couldn't grab me in as a PC gamer. You couldn't keep me as a PC gamer. So I appreciate PC gamers now, and appreciate what PC gaming does nowadays, and that it did get better and it's more streamlined. It's more conducive to what we do with gaming now when it comes to multiplayer, especially. I just can't bring myself to come back now. That's all I was saying in that conversation. So I do want people in the future when you hear me talk about PC and console gaming, I'm really talking about one, AAA titles that are available on console, and two, the multiplayer aspect of a lot of these games. So Again, I do want to pick this conversation up in a later podcast, but
Yeah, we
we've
can
kind of
definitely pick it up
extended.
next week.
Yeah, we've kind of extended our time here. I want you guys to know that you can check out the show on onelifetoplay.com. We'll post a replay along with having a replay available on twitch.tv. We were joined tonight on Get the Effing Phone podcast by Tony Hannady's of Lazy Tech Guys, editor in chief. Thanks a lot, Tony, for joining us. We want you guys to make sure in the chat that you follow us on twitch.tv and make sure you follow everything that Lazy Tech Guys does as well. You can find all their information on lazytechguys.com. And as I said earlier, you can find the Get the Effing Phone and One Like to Play podcast and content on iTunes. Please subscribe, follow, comment, especially over on YouTube. We get so many views from you guys over on YouTube. We appreciate all that, but it's really nothing unless we can hear from you guys because we're always interested in your comments, opinions, and views on things as well. So make sure you throw a video a like if you like it. Post a comment on there too. Our Skype is One Life to Play, just like the word. Like I said, you can search Google or Bing, search One Life to Play, and find all of our stuff and contacts. But yeah, we're on Skype at One Life to Play. And that is our closing. Tony, you got anything from Lazy Tech Guys you want to mention? I know you got a
Uh,
contest over there, right?
Yeah, we've got a contest. So for those of you that are out there, I know this phone's kind of old by now, but if you are still rocking an LG G3, we are currently giving away three of these. These are the VR for G3. So basically, this is a cardboard headset that is specifically designed for the G3. Even has a cutout for the camera, so some of the applications that use the camera with VR and augmented reality, you can take advantage of that. So if you have a G4, this won't work. I've tried it with my G4, but yeah, I mean it's a pretty cool little giveaway that they've been able to allow us to have for the summer. So we have a giveaway page on our YouTube. So or rather, sorry, I keep saying it that way. YouTube.com/LazyTechTV, and you can find the giveaway there. Or you know what, if you want it and you have plans to buy the G3 because it's still available, you can just get it for like a penny. Tweet at me, LTG Tony. And the first, as long as you live in the United States, if you tweet at me at LTG Tony, I'll send one to you. So the first person to do that, go do that.
There you go.
And no child porn though. We
No
we don't
child
do
porn,
that.
Brad Nader.
No, we Brand Nader, we don't do that.
He's our little pretty pony.
Yeah, who likes child porn?
Okay.
For those of you who are just jumping in and you're like, "What the fuck?" Like you had to be there.
Yeah, you really
You
kind of
just
had to
had
be
to
there.
be there.
Yeah, our viewer count is just like peaked right now. Like everybody's jumping in now, but we're about to oh, don't give out your Skype. People use it to get your IP. Oh shit. Okay, well, forget my Skype. You didn't see that.
You didn't hear that.
Yeah, you didn't see that. Can I delete that? I
We'll
can't
edit
delete that
we'll
right
edit
now.
that out in post.
Yeah, we'll check that out in post. But until next time, we will be back at this podcast. It will be Monday nights, Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesday morning, 1 a.m. We are on opposite sides of the coast. Um, yeah, Reckless Yuki, if you got some tips, go ahead and send us a
Email
message.
you could email at
Yeah,
info.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
email One Life to Play if you have a question for the show or if you have any comments or tips for the show. You can email us at info@onelifetoplay.com. Just go ahead and send us your emails and we'll read those on the show as well. But like I said, we'll be back next Monday. I'll be just coming back in from Chicago, but we'll definitely still do a podcast. And we will probably be doing some live gaming this Thursday night on our Twitch channel as well, One Life to Play. So that's twitch.tv/One Life to Play. And before we leave, I will do it one last time. I'll give Reckless one too. Brad and Nader 12, you're a pretty pony. Reckless Yuki, you're a pretty pony too. So until next time, I want you guys to all game on.